There is no doubt that the game of the weekend in all of college lacrosse is right here in College Park as the Red Hot Irish roll into CQ Stadium trying to keep their perfect record intact. But the defending champion Terrapins have other plans. They are hungry for a third straight win. It's number 2 Notre Dame and number 4 Maryland live on Big Ten Plus. And we welcome you inside the booth. I'm Tyler Lockdean. Alongside me is Matt Dunn. And Matt, a big story for Maryland all year has been the goalkeeper position since Logan McNaney went down. The freshman, Brian Ruppel, has been great so far.
Yeah, Brian Ruppel's done a great job as a true freshman, stepping in against a very good Princeton team last week. It was very impressive. The question will be, how consistent can he be going forward? And can he be the guy Maryland needs to win this game today?
The Terrapins are led on offense with Daniel Kelly's 11 goals.
Yeah, some of the Terps' biggest loss last year on the offensive end with Logan Wisnowski, Anthony DeMeo, Keegan Kahn. So Daniel Kelly's kind of filled that role so far, leading the team in points, and hopefully he can keep that going.
On the other end, it's Chris Cavanaugh who leads the Irish with 12.
Chris Cavanaugh's a dynamic player, and as a sophomore, to lead this team is very impressive. He can do it all. He can score goals. He can get assists. He also brings a lot of energy to the team and makes very tough plays off the ground and on the ride.
And he gets a lot of help from his brother, Pat, who leads the country in assists.
Pat's very impressive as well, similar to Chris, brings a lot of energy to this team, rides hard, gets ground balls. He's leading the league in assists, but he's also very capable of scoring if needed.
The two Cavanaugh brothers have thrived under legendary coach Kevin Corrigan.
Coach Corrigan's built a very impressive program here at Notre Dame. He's the winningest coach at a single Division I program in NCAA history with 324 wins at Notre Dame. They built a very disciplined, fundamental program, so it's going to make for an exciting game today.
And on the other end, it's Coach John Tillman for Maryland. He has 2 championships under his belt. He'd love to get a third this year.
Yeah, in 13 seasons, Coach Tillman bringing 2 championships to the Maryland program that hasn't seen it in so long is awesome, exactly what the program needed. The question will be, with so many losses last year and a loss to Loyola a few weeks ago, can Coach Tillman get this team back on track?
And we are just about set to go. It's a great day. It's a windy day here in College Park. And we go to the face-off dot, and this is going to be a big story today, Matt. It's Luke Weirman and Will Lynch. Luke Weirman is one of the best in the nation.
Yeah, we know how important face-offs are and possessions will be in this game. I think both teams are very evenly matched throughout the field, and I think this is face-off X is one of the most important parts of this game.
5 of the last 6 games between these two teams have been decided by 2 goals or less. And we are underway here in College Park. It's going to be Notre Dame who wins the opening face-off, Will Lynch. And he will give it off to Pat Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh will find his brother, Chris. 2 players who are playing for Chaminade up in Long Island. They're 2 of 9 on this Notre Dame team that used to play for the Flyers. In the stick of Bryce Walker. Shot clock at 50 for the Irish. Working it and shooting that one wide. Looked like he might have been passing it to Rich Ardelli, but it's going to go out of bounds, and Maryland is going to take it back. Into the stick of the freshman goalie, Brian Ruppel. As Ajax Zapatello is going to look to get this clear. Maryland's got about 5 seconds to get it across midfield. Zapatello's going to have to launch it. He will. Here's Trader. Dante Trader driving in. And this time he's not going to shoot it. Had 2 goals against Syracuse. He seems to do something viral every week. Last game against Princeton. Shook his head no against Coulter Mackesy for locking him up. Dante Trader really is fun to watch as Jack Brennan takes that, passes it behind X to Urksa, the freshman. Now Urksa's going to come around. Didn't have space to shoot, gives it up to Chorus. This is Kyle Long. Long cutting to the middle. Can he get room to shoot? He will. It goes wide. It's going to stay with Maryland. They got 20 seconds on the shot clock. Bringing it in is Brennan. Brennan giving it off to Kelly. Kelly trying to create some space here for a shot. Cuts to the middle. That shot is saved. It's Entenmann there in net. And Notre Dame is going to hang on. Good defense there by the Irish.
It's good defense by the Irish there. The Terps got two pretty good looks, but that's a big first stop for Edelman. You know, one of the best goalies, if not the best goalie in the country. So getting a good save for him early there will definitely help.
And the Irish are going to get that clear up to Nick Harris. And they're going to bring on their offensive middies.
I would expect the Irish to settle in a little more here. I think there's some early game jitters in that last possession, probably forcing a look that they don't love. So I would expect them to settle in a little bit on these next few possessions.
It's in the stick of Bryce Walker. He's working on Nick Redd. Walker's going to pass that out. This is Dobson. Dobson working on Trader. That pass gets away. He was looking for Pat Cavanaugh. It's going to go across midfield, Maryland ball.
I think some things to look at on Maryland's defense this year is their defensive midfielders and winning these matchups. Notre Dame's midfield is so talented, so watching these guys win their matchups is going to be critical for Maryland today.
Maryland, obviously, they are known for their short stick D middies. Dante Trader, Donovan Lacey, they've both played really well this year, and they're going to need to play well today against a really good Irish team. As Spanos is going to pass that behind the goal, comes to the front. That shot is in. Owen Murphy gets us started 1-0 Maryland.
Yeah, and you see there the Terps get the ball behind the goal, which allows for a lot of action to feed to the crease. Maryland moving the ball well, got a few good looks, and finally is able to can a very high percentage shot in front of the cage there.
Yeah, Owen Murphy's really stepped up on attack this year. As you can see there, Maltz giving it up to him. Murphy's not going to miss if you give him space.
Right, and Tyler, you see when the ball goes to X, the whole defense, including the goalie, has to turn their head. So when you can feed the crease from there, it's a very high-quality shot, and those are the shots Maryland gets a lot of, those shots right on the doorstep.
So Owen Murphy picks up goal number 8, point number 10 on the year. And Maryland strikes first in this big-time matchup here in College Park. So a big talking point was, can Will Lynch win some face-offs against Weirman? He won the first, and this time it's a loose ball. It's going to be scooped up there by Jack McDonald. Here comes Maryland.
Yeah, and Tyler, against two very well-coached, disciplined, and skilled teams, possessions mean so much. So everything from a bad possession on offense to a successful clear to a ground ball to a face-off win makes a big difference in these games. So continuing to watch the face-off X and just how these teams handle their possessions is going to be really important.
Spanos giving it off to Owen Murphy. Murphy's already scored 1. He's going to give it off to Spanos here. Spanos cutting inside. He's going to take that behind the goal. Works on the far side of the field. Chris Fake working on him as that pass gets away. Makar dove for it.
Maryland got bailed out, Maryland got bailed out a little bit with the push there. Like we talked about, these possessions are so valuable, and we saw Notre Dame throw one away on the first possession, and Maryland almost just lost one there.
This is Maltz taking it in. Maltz at X coming to the front. He's going to turn and shoot. That one, no good. It rippled the net on the outside, and Urksa is going to try to run after it, but Notre Dame is going to take possession. Good defense, and boy, do they need to bounce back.
One thing you'll notice a lot of with Maryland is they end up with short sticks covering the ball behind the cage because they will carry through to X, which allows for Maltz, who's an old attackman, to dodge a short stick from behind the cage, which makes it difficult to slide to and support there.
Maryland has had some good looks, but they've only been able to put it past Entenmann once. Whistle's going to go Maryland's way.
A little sloppier than you'd expect from two teams that traditionally are very disciplined. I think there's a little jitters here with these early turnovers. You don't usually see a team like Notre Dame go off sides and turn the ball over so early.
Kyle Long trying to take this one in. He's going to pass that across. That's another pass that gets away. How many times have we seen that so far? This is easily the biggest game of the season for both of these teams, and I think you're right, Matt. Might be getting in their head a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's what you're seeing here. Both teams, on paper, they're great. I think Notre Dame, is off to a hot start, but have they really been tested that much? They beat Georgetown pretty handily, and I think the big question in the league right now is, how good is Georgetown? On paper, they stack up, but this will be a big test for both teams, and I think you're seeing a little bit of the nerves here.
Jack Simmons trying to take this in. Geppert there with some good defense to force him behind the goal. And Riley Gray, taking it across. He's going to pass that off. A shot at a goal. Brian Tevlin ties the game.
Yeah, and so you'll see Notre Dame carried into an invert there and did a big little where Maryland has a short stick covering the ball behind the cage, and they set a pick for him. And so what that does is forces Maryland's defense to collapse down and support the inside, and Notre Dame can skip it through for a step down. Once again, you'll see here Maryland has to support down. We can see up the field, and we just get a great shot from Notre Dame right in front of the cage in a step down. That's tough for freshman goalie Brian Ruppel to really get adjusted and make a good effort on the ball there.
Notre Dame's first shot, Notre Dame's first goal, and it's a 1-1 ball game here. Notre Dame has been great in the first quarter of games so far this year. They've outscored opponents 20-6 in the opening frame. But Maryland scored first. That Maryland goal was the first time Notre Dame has trailed all year long. So the Irish, they have not seen much in the way of adversity, but they immediately fight back and tie it.
Yeah, and Tyler, as you mentioned, 5 of the last 6 games between Maryland and Notre Dame have been within two goals or less. And I think that's probably what we're going to see here. These teams are both competitive, similarly built, and I think we can expect this one to be tight.
This is Brennan cutting in. His shot is denied. Ground ball in front of the net, picked up by Entenmann. Here comes the Irish again.
I think we're already seeing the value of Entenmann this early in the game with a couple stops. You know, that shot to the middle of the field. Pretty easy save for Entenmann at his feet, but you don't want to let a goalie like that get warm and start to heat up.
You can see Brett Makar there. And marking Pat Cavanaugh. That's certainly a matchup to watch. 2 of the best in the nation. This is Bryce Walker spinning. He's working on red. He'll give that off. This is Cavanaugh coming around, denied by Ruppel. No, it went in. Off the top post, it looks like.
Seems to be some confusion here.
Maryland keeps
playing. Was that
playing.
a crossbar?
Refs are going to talk this over. They're going to say goal. Chris Cavanaugh is going to put the Irish in front.
Yeah, and you'll see what the Cavanaughs do. Oh, that was a bounce to the one. Yeah, you'll see what the Cavanaughs do so well is I don't expect Pat or Chris to take Brett or Ajax to the back end line and dodge them. They're so crafty off the ball, playing that X hang-out game with Ajax and making him play off the ball makes it very difficult for him to get a good approach to Chris there.
So a bit of a weird moment as Maryland kept playing. But the refs called a goal. That's the right call. And the Irish, they've got 2 in a row to take the lead. This is Trader trying to pick up this ground ball. Battle for it. And again, for Maryland, it's so important here not to let the Irish really get up. Irish have 2 in a row. They'd love to get a third here.
Yeah, so that's a big win for the Irish right there. I think getting some momentum for them, you know, off of face-off, which is an area they probably thought they weren't going to do so great in, is pretty big after a goal.
This is Walker. He's going to take that behind the goal.
We see Notre Dame getting back to their big little invert set there, and Maryland defends it well.
This is Dobson. He's going to give that off. McCann rips one and scores. Quinn McCann makes it 3-1. And the Irish, they can do no wrong right now offensively. That's 3 in a row for the visitors.
And I think we'll see even out of the big little set, this gets Maryland very tight defensively, so they have to approach these big athletic and skilled Notre Dame midfielders inside the box. They're approaching at around 15 yards or less, and that lets Notre Dame just slip off for a shot. And so I would expect to see Notre Dame continue to go back to their big little invert set to give their midfielders more space above the cage.
Notre Dame has held their own in the face-off dot. But this time, the whistle gives it to Weirman.
Yeah, this is key for Maryland to slow down some of this momentum.
Notre Dame has scored on all 3 shots they have taken today. They've done a great job of creating good looks and executing.
And to be fair to Brian Ruppel, these have been quality shots. You know, Chris Cavanaugh coming around tight to the cage with that bouncer, and then 2 midfield shots from pretty free, hands open in front of the cage.
This is Murphy. He's got one already, looking for 2. That one bounces away. But Urksa is there to keep possession for the Terps. freshman Urxa. Trying to get a pick there by Brennan, coming around. Did not have room to shoot it. This is Murphy. He's got a cannon. He's going to come around. A flag flies. Murphy, a pass across. This is long. Long trying to get it out of the way of Will Donovan as Brennan comes to the front. Brennan turns and passes to Murphy. Murphy trying to find somebody open. This is Maltz a rip, and it goes over. But that flag is going to give Maryland an EMO.
Yeah, Tyler, and that's a quality look there for Maryland, and not too different than some of the looks Notre Dame had. They were just able to capitalize.
So you can see here that shot by Maltz that went wide on the near side. So it's so important here for Maryland. Man up, they are 7 of 15 on the year. Notre Dame, their man-up defense has been fantastic. They've given up just 1 goal in 6 attempts.
Yeah, and this appears to be a non-releasable penalty. So I think Maryland's ability to capitalize and potentially get 1 or 2 here would be huge to change the momentum.
So Kelly's going to give that up. This is Murphy. A pass across. Murphy's going to let it fly off of the stick, still loose. Picked up by Chorus. Now Long is going to throw that across. Here's Murphy. He'll let it rip again, and this time he scores. 3-2. Maryland is right back within 1.
And that was pretty good man-down defense by Notre Dame there. You know, getting a deflection on the first shot while they're short a man. And as Maryland gets this ball movement, it's really key. If you can kind of skip the ball and beat the rotation and man-down defense, that really allows you to get your hands free for some shots. And then just Murphy canning an outside shot here and finally getting one past Entenmann, I think is big for Maryland's confidence.
And because it's a non-releasable penalty, well, first we're going to take a timeout. So Maryland, they fight back into it. They're down by just 1. You're watching Maryland and Notre Dame here on Big Ten Plus. Last year, Notre Dame gave Maryland their toughest test of the season. It was a 1-goal game into the 4th before Maryland finally pulled away.
Yeah, and you know, it means even more looking back in hindsight with Maryland, the way they turned out and really were blowing a lot of teams out. Notre Dame was their biggest challenge of the regular season, honestly, until their Final Four run. You know, and Notre Dame didn't even make the playoffs. And so that just goes to show how good this team is. And I expect to see a similar game today.
Really, every time these two teams have played, it has been close. Maryland, they lead the all-time series 9-6, and they are on a 3-game winning streak. But these two teams, they've played a lot, especially recently. 8th straight year they play each other.
Yeah, and I think for fans, it's pretty thankful that the shot clock exists now because Maryland Notre Dame traditionally was a defensive standout where we were looking at 5-4 games, 6-5 games. So the shot clock definitely keeps the score up a little here.
So Maryland is still man up. This is a really big face-off for the Terps. If they can win it, then they will. That's Chorus, former Loyola Don, who's going to take that across. And a timeout's going to be called by Maryland now that they have the ball. And we are going to step away here again. Maryland with a big opportunity when we come back here on Big Ten Plus. And welcome back. Let's take a look at the coaches poll. Both of these teams in the top 5, Virginia and Cornell, they are also really, really good.
Yeah, when you look at some of these teams play, I think Virginia just tends to stand out as more athletic and just talented than a lot of the teams. But I haven't seen Cornell play much. But Maryland and Notre Dame, you know, this early in the season, it is hard to tell. So I think this game will tell us a lot and see how those polls shake out after the weekend.
I think that a lot of people were surprised when Maryland went up to Baltimore and took a loss to Loyola, but they have bounced back with ranked wins against Syracuse and Princeton, and they've got a big opportunity here today against the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, and here Maryland has about 10 seconds left, and here we can see why those non-releasable penalties can be so valuable.
This is Urxa passing it across. Murphy, he's got 2 already. He can shoot from pretty much anywhere. Maryland has 5 seconds left on that penalty. This is Urksa over to Kelly. They're going to find Murphy again, and this time he cannot find the net. Looking for the hat trick, and Notre Dame is back to even strength.
And that's a good look there. You'll see in man-up scenarios, the more you can get those skip passes, those tend to be open for shots.
Here's Long coming around. This is Urksa. Trying to get a pick there by Murphy. Urksa. Pass it to Maltz. Maltz to the front. That shot by Kelly is wide.
And there's another one of those shots Maryland gets a lot of. As the ball gets to X, you'll see a lot of Maryland guys do a great job cutting. Right there, Daniel Kelly has a good look in front of the cage.
This is Urksa. He's going to find Murphy. That one denied. What a save by Entenmann. This ground ball is going to go all the way to the line. It's going to be Maryland ball.
Those are those ground balls in the game, right? These balls right here are going to make the big difference in the Maryland-Notre Dame game, where both these teams pride themselves in winning the ground game.
Maryland won it there. They get a fresh 60 on the shot clock. Maryland out shooting Notre Dame 12-3. Had a lot of near misses as Signorello is going to take this in for Maryland. This is Brennan working on McCann. He's going to get back out to the freshman, Marco Signorello. This is Spanos, 30 seconds to work with here for Maryland. Signorello going behind. This is Brennan coming to the front. Urksa trying to skip that over. A ground ball picked up by Urksa.
Another
Good
big
fight
ground
there
ball
by the freshman. But Maryland has 10 seconds. They're going to have to hurry. Signorello cutting in. He's going to have to just throw that away. Smart play there by the freshman not to force a shot.
Yeah, and you'll see some teams do that low in the shot clock rather than shoot the ball at a poor angle and give the goalie a save and easy outlet. It lets Maryland get set up in their ride to challenge Notre Dame's clear here.
So the goalie, Entenmann, run that up to about that 35-yard line before giving it up, and a whistle is going to go Maryland's way again.
And another offsides, it appears, once again. We don't typically see that from a team like Notre Dame.
Trader spins and shoots. It goes wide. But you're right. We've been talking about the jitters this whole first quarter. Notre Dame typically such a dominant force in the opening quarter, but today they do have the lead. However, they've made some mistakes.
I think we have to remember it's early in the season as well, and for Notre Dame, game 4 here, just, a chance to still iron a lot of these things out.
This is Murphy. He thought about shooting it. Instead passes it off. Here's Maltz. Maltz is going to turn and shoot. It goes over. Notre Dame is going to dive for it. Did they get it? No, it's going to stay with Maryland. Good effort, though, there by Nick Harris. Now Urksa is going to bring this in. And that's going to be another flag here on Notre Dame. Here's Long. Long, a skip pass across. This is Brennan, tipped in. Maryland ties it at 3.
And Kyle Long does that over-the-top teardrop skip pass so well. And we saw it all last year where he can attack that low corner of the back pipe there, dodge and put pressure on the defense, knowing a defense is going to help from the backside. So if you can get that skip pass through, typically you have a player with his hands free. Right there, we can see as Kyle Long drops that ball over the top, there's a ton of space for that step-down shot right here. And it's good to see Brennan back in the lineup. He gets his hand-free step down, bounces it, which forces Entenmann to drop, and the ball bounces right over his stick.
Jack Brennan, he is back. Second goal of the year. And that's a big one to tie it 3-3. And now Maryland is going to be man up for another minute. So another big face-off here for Weirman. Notre Dame can win this. They could try to kill that off. Weirman's going to flick that back. And Chorus is going to pick up another ground ball.
And that is a big win. Not only is Maryland man up here, but they have the ball. And Notre Dame can't score if they don't have the ball. So this battle of possession is so critical.
Maryland today, 1 for 1 in the EMO.
We actually saw Maryland's, momentum shift last weekend against Princeton with some penalties as well. So the ability to capitalize here can really change the game.
Here's Maltz. Pass back to Murphy. Looking for a hat trick. He's got it. 4-3 Terps.
And similar look here, but kind of the inverse from the opposite side. Coming up X, driving that righty wing and seeing that over-the-top skip pass. It's really hard to defend that as a defense, especially man down where you have to support the crease and the ball side shooters. Right there over the top. Notre Dame's going to do their best to play that passing lane, but if Maryland can drop it over their sticks, that's a great step-down look.
And again, Murphy, he's got a cannon. That's his 10th goal of the year. Cannot give him any space. He's going to make you pay. So Notre Dame now back to even strength. And Maryland has scored the last 3 of this game. Weirman's going to win another faceoff. He's going to take it up the middle. Great job by Notre Dame to close it off. Here's Geppert, a shot. It goes over. John Geppert, he is no stranger to the back of that. 5 goals last year. He's got 2 already this year. And they like to set him up.
Yeah, Geppert's got a good, powerful shot. So even from some distance there, a long pull shot's hard for a goalie to read. So that's a shot I think Maryland's happy to take.
Here's Signorello. Can Maryland keep this momentum going? They're out shooting the Irish 17-3 in this opening quarter. They've got just 4 goals to show for it. Entenmann's made 4 saves.
Here Maryland's carrying back into an invert with Daniel Maltz.
Maltz trying to come around. He's going to find Spanos. Urksa. Here's Signorello. He'll take one. Great save, Entenmann.
That's another pretty good look for Maryland. Great ball movement. That's a huge save for Entenmann.
Entenmann already with 5 saves. He has been solid in the back line for Notre Dame, whose offense just really hasn't had much of the ball.
No, they haven't. And I would expect them to hold for 1 shot here. 50 seconds left in the quarter. Probably try to get one last good one and not give Maryland a chance.
Here's a shot from distance by McCann.
Well, prove me wrong. They got a chance in transition and actually a pretty good look. So you're always going to take that. You're not going to pass that up.
You can see McCann there. He fired it just over.
Makar actually got a nice piece of his hand start with a skewer leading with his stick. Really altered the shot.
That's Walker making a move. Great save, Ruppel, his first of the day. Now Maryland's got 25 seconds. Can they get it down the field?
I think that's really important for Ruppel there to get that stop at the end of the first quarter.
This is Kors taking it across the 50. 10 seconds now for Maryland. They got to work quickly. Kyle Long off the bench coming in. They left him open. He's going to pass that off. A rip from Kelly goes wide. Now Maltz. No, they're going to say Notre Dame ball. Good coverage there. And that's how the first quarter is going to end. The final seconds are just going to tick away as Entenmann fires it deep. A really entertaining first quarter between 2 phenomenal teams. Maryland with a slight 4-3 edge. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, it's been great, and I think the score's interesting considering I think Maryland was probably pretty lopsided with possession there, and so it really shows the value of Entenmann in that quarter for Notre Dame, getting some big stops despite Maryland out-shooting Notre Dame by so much. It's only a 1-goal game.
Yeah, 19-5 advantage in shots for Maryland, who have the lead. You are watching college lacrosse here on Big Ten Plus. Tomorrow, it's the women's turn at CQ Stadium as the Maryland Terrapins look to bounce back against the Pioneers out of the Big East. It's Denver and Maryland tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Big Ten Plus. And we are back underway as Notre Dame is going to look to try to find an answer.
And that's a big face-off win for Notre Dame there. That seems like kind of the first clean one of the game.
This is Bryce Walker. He's going to give that off to Eric Dobson. Dobson working on Trader. Dobson's going to take it all the way. His shot goes wide. It's going to stay with the Irish.
And they're trying to get Trader back on Dobson there, and that's going to be a big matchup today. Dobson's a very effective midfielder, dodging from up top, and Dante Trader's proven to be a very good defensive midfielder for Maryland.
Here's Bryce Walker cutting in and tying the game at 4. Where did that come from? He just took it right in, walked up to the goal, and stuck it in.
Yeah, and here you'll see a nice dodge here just down the alley, and it's not great angle, but he's able to bounce it past the goalkeeper there at the hash, and Maryland's just not able to support. I think the action, the short dodge there from Notre Dame, makes it hard for Maryland to get a slide to that.
So for Walker, it's goal number 5 on the year. And we are tied again. Fight for it. Weirman just pushed over Lynch. And he's going to pick up the ground ball. Now Weirman takes a shot. It's getting chippy out here. CQ Field. And now the other way comes Colin Burlace.
Corner of Maryland. And that's a big turnover for Notre Dame. And this is where you can see how hard this team rides.
Just the effort from both of these teams is it's going to go out of bounds. Maryland is going to get possession.
And that is in the culture and blueprint of both these programs historically, how hard they play in the middle of the field and how they do things.
So now Notre Dame thinks that they have the ball. The refs are going to talk it over. And it will be Irish ball. Boos from the crowd, but Notre Dame is going to take it.
Those are game-changing plays there. We talk about the battle of possession. Being able to win one back there is really important.
This is Jack Simmons. He's going to give it off to Riley Gray. Gray's going to find Pat Cavanaugh. Haven't said his name much today, but he finds a cutting Tevlin, and the Irish take the lead. You can see why Pat Cavanaugh leads the country in assists there. What a pass.
And that was just a pretty wide open cut there. It's really, Rupel doesn't have much of a chance on that one. You'll see as Notre Dame gets the ball to X, I think Maryland trying to support to the ball just leaves a wide open cutter. And it's a little surprising to see Maryland support so early to Brett Makar there, but I guess it just shows, the value and respect Maryland put on Pat Cavanaugh. I think going forward, we'll see Maryland slide to Brett Makar a little slower and support the inside more.
You got to be aware of Pat Cavanaugh. He is fantastic. His 15th assist on the year as Weirman wins the faceoff. 5-4 Irish.
It is important to note, just an interesting, that the amount of time Maryland's had the ball and the Irish are still up 1, their scoring efficiency is through the roof right now, even without the possessions that we said would be so valuable.
Kyle Long is going to give that off to Corus. Now Corus is going to cut in. He's going to be pushed behind the goal. He will give it back off to Long, who will find Murphy on the near side. Long's going to cut in. Can he find some space to shoot? No. Has to Urksa.
And this is good defense by Notre Dame right here.
This is Kelly. Back to Murphy. 20 seconds on the shot clock as Murphy picks it back up. Maltz trying to work his way inside. Now 10 seconds for Maryland. It's going to have to come down. Long working his way in. And that pass is going to be intercepted. The other way, it's Bergmaster.
That was an impressive defensive stand by Notre Dame right there with multiple slide and recoveries, great approaches to the ball, not really giving much up, and then an awesome nugget there at the end to steal the ball back.
It's in the stick of Chris Cavanaugh. Notre Dame trying to increase their lead. 5 goals on 8 shots for this very efficient offense. Dobson going to bring that in. His shot low and denied. Cavanaugh tried to scoop it right back. Open net. A fight for the ball. Zappatello went down. Maryland is going to get it possession.
And that's important. I'll tell you, with this Notre Dame attack unit, those loose balls around around the crease are so critical. Watch Notre Dame's attack swarm this ball aggressively, and I'm sure Coach Johnson was emphasizing this all week for Maryland. When that ball rebounds in front of the cage, we have to secure the crease.
Brennan is going to get that across to Lacey. This Maryland offense is going to go to work here trying to tie the game. Good crowd on hand here today at CQ Stadium for a massive early season matchup.
And I think we're starting to see these teams settle in a little bit here. You can see Notre Dame actually starting to take away that pass to X with Chris Fake there, not letting Maryland get that ball behind the cage to the cutters as easily.
Signorello's going to pass that off. Comes to the near side. It's Maltz. Maltz sending that one across. Was that kept out by Entman? What a save.
And those are the looks Maryland's going to need to capitalize on. Both teams are in a game like this. That's a pretty good look on the back doorstep. And I think the gripe with Maryland, one of the reasons they struggled with Loyola is they were struggling to win on-ball matchups on offense. And the last few possessions, it's kind of seemed like Maryland struggled to get some leverage dodging.
Devlin, that's a bad pass. It's going to be intercepted by Spanos. Spanos is going to take that across, but Urksa dropped it. Good fight there by Tevlin, and it's going to be picked up by Simmons.
Right as we say the teams are settling in, it seems like the ball's all over the place.
And Chris Fake will grab it, play it forward. This is Kavanaugh.
That's a great stick by Ajax Zapatello to knock that pass down in transition and potentially save a goal.
Do not want to get Kavanaugh open.
Here Notre Dame's walking into an invert. And a big little bringing Pat Kavanaugh back to set a pick.
Coming across is Riley Gray. He's going to find Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh's going to find his brother. This is Chris. Trying to direct traffic. Kavanaugh to the middle. Richie Ardelli there had a good look, but he could not keep that shot down.
And you'll see Maryland work to get back their matchups here as Kavanaugh had a short stick on that last possession.
So Pat Kavanaugh is going to bring this in. 25 on the shot clock. Notre Dame trying to add to their lead. This is Gray.
That's a good slide by Ajax right there. Dante Trader back with his matchup.
Kavanaugh coming to the front. He's going to find his brother. And that ball finds the ground. A bouncer's denied by Rupel. Great save there by the former Catonsville Comet.
Yeah, and that's a great save by Rupel there. Once again, that's Notre Dame's attack and offense securing a loose ball in those 50-50 possessions, one thing they do so well. So Maryland got a good stop there, but Notre Dame almost just got it back on a hustle play.
Rupel's got an interesting background. Spoke to my good friend Jay Rallo, who played with him at Catonsville. Rupel played midfield as a freshman for the Comets, led the team with 31 points before switching to goalie.
I had no clue. He's impressive in the cage, and right now he's starting to get some stops, and you can kind of see his confidence settling in a little bit.
This is Brennan cutting in, and that's good defense by Notre Dame to not let that shot get off.
It's a good trail check there by Notre Dame.
And this is Urksa working to the near side. Urksa to the middle. He's going to find Maltz, a rip. And again, Notre Dame with a great job just not letting Maryland take advantage of these good looks.
Yeah, and Urksa's been impressive handling pressure as a freshman, and that is a nice look. I think Notre Dame's done a really good job of approaching through shooting lanes and just knocking down a lot of balls.
It's Barlett who takes it in transition. A timeout's going to be called by Notre Dame as they have the ball. And let's take a look at some of the defense we've seen today. Both of these teams have started off really strong.
Yeah, historically, both Maryland and Notre Dame are known for their defenses, and although they've had very high-powered offensive recently, we can see some of the blueprint of their core identity where Notre Dame, is rotating, sliding, recovering very well. Maryland's starting to settle in and make Notre Dame's offense a little less comfortable. I think Maryland's starting to win some more matchups and slide at the appropriate time rather than going too early.
And we are going to step away here. Notre Dame with the ball in the lead here on Big Ten Plus. Notre Dame has the lead right now. Could this be the year that they win it all? So Maryland is going to try to hang in here defensively as Notre Dame is looking to attack on the goal. Turning and shooting. That's a great save there by Rupel.
And that's great on-ball defense by Maryland right there. Just able to win that approach on that island right there by the short stick. Very impressive. Allowing Rupel to see a shot he wants to see and get a big stop.
As Lacey's going to take that across midfield. So Maryland's here down by 1 with time running out here in this first half. Coming in here is Chorus. Terps, they scored 4 goals in the first quarter.
We'll see Maryland play the sub game here a little, see if they can get leverage, but they don't. Notre Dame gets settled in for even numbers.
This is Brennan. Brennan is going to find Long. Long trying to cut back there. He's going to find Kelly. And it gets over to the far side, Brennan. Brennan to Maltz. Here's a shot up in the air, but back into the stick of Kelly.
And that's a big reset for Maryland right there, but I'll say that's not a shot that you typically see Maryland taking. I would say not super high quality, so I think we'll see if we can work to get more of those early shots in the middle of the field here.
This is Brennan. Maryland's got 41 on the shot clock. Ball's in the stick of 41 as he gives it off to Long. Coming in is Spanos.
We'll see Maryland going into this big little invert here as they're kind of struggling to win matchups above the cage, see if they can take it behind and get some leverage.
Spanos, a pass, a bouncer, but a whistle's going to go. That's going to be another man-up opportunity here for Maryland.
Yeah, and I think, this man-up's going to be really important for Maryland because they're struggling to get some leverage on the dodge, right? And it's really hard on offense to get good shots if somebody can't beat their man on the field. So kind of fortunate and a little bit bailed out here, but they'll really need to capitalize on this opportunity.
So for Maryland, man up here, looking to tie the game. They've got a minute to try to do so. And we've already seen the man up work for Maryland today. Can they cash in again?
And Notre Dame has 12 Tevlin in with a pole right now, and he's traditionally a short stick midfielder for them, playing some man down with a long pole.
He can do it all. He's found the back of the net so far today. Twice. Zerksa over to Murphy. That's Chorus, a whistle. And that's going to be Notre Dame ball.
Wow, it appears somebody stepped in the crease there, and that's one of those mistakes in a game like this you just really don't want to make.
So now Notre Dame can just hold the ball here and kill that penalty. And they're going to have some time with the ball on offense. Trying to cash in, but that's intercepted there by Rupel.
Maryland got into a 10-man or more of a 9.5 ride there where the goalie comes out of the cage. I think you'll see teams do that when they're clearing man down, and Maryland's able to match up with everybody on the field in that scenario.
Open is Kelly. He couldn't find the goal.
That's a pretty quality look in transition.
Kelly, who leads the team in scoring, has not found the net yet today. They have kept feeding him, though. This is Chorus. He's going to give it off to the freshman, Urksa. Urksa, nice move. His shot goes wide.
I'll tell you, Urksa's been impressive. He doesn't back down for his matchups, and he runs right at Dodgers. Right there, we can see that's some leverage on the Dodgers that Maryland needs to start getting.
This is long. That was Murphy who went down. He's back up. Long, tough look. Couldn't get it to go, but Chorus is there. It's going to stay with Maryland.
And there they had Kyle Long on a short stick, and I think he likes that matchup, so he's working that for a shot.
Turning and shooting is Chorus. And again, they can't find the goal. It's 27 shots for Maryland. Just 11 have been on target. And it looks like Coach Tillman's going to call a timeout there with 50 on the shot clock. Every possession so important here for Maryland.
Close until the end, but Maryland, they're down with 3 minutes to go here in this first half. And can they find something here? That's Signorello. Gonna give it off to Urksa. Urksa trying to come to the front. Does he have a look? He does, but it goes wide.
And that's a nice move from Urksa there, and I think we're starting to see guys like him become a little more aggressive. Right there, that little rocker move right there to get his right hand's a quality move an attackman can use on the island to get the shot.
In the middle, this is Brennan, and again, Notre Dame just makes these shots so hard to come by.
It's a good collapse and two slide by Notre Dame there.
Chris Fake, the Yale transfer, a fantastic defenseman. He's going to give that back to his goalie, Entenmann.
Yeah, Notre Dame lost some big personnel from the defensive end after last year with a few transfers coming in, Chris Fake being one of them, who's one of the best defenders in the country.
Chris Fake and also Chris Conlon, who is a great defender in his own right, led the country in caused turnovers per game in 2020 and 2021 with the Holy Cross Crusaders. And coming in here is Dobson. He's going to give that back to Cavanaugh. Gets to Chris Cavanaugh here on the near side. Cavanaugh, he's open. He'll let it fly, but it goes just wide.
And, you know, it's pretty good defense there. It's a tough shot, but what both Cavanaughs do here is they're able to shoot at those low angles and score. So that's still a pretty good shot for Notre Dame where most guys, you know, really wouldn't want to take that shot.
This is Pat Cavanaugh. He's going to pass that off to Tevlin, who's already got 2 goals. Tevlin's going to find Walker.
That's a great breakdown by Colin Burles there on the backside. And you can see as Maryland helps over, Colin Burles had to go approach the ball. But that's a really high-quality breakdown that a lot of people won't notice, and that saved the goal for Maryland.
Makard passing it off to Rupel. Rupel, long pass. This is Geppert. He could shoot it. But instead it goes out of his stick. Good job to get back. Throw that in. Schrader is going to get through and pick up the loose change.
And that's a nice play by Geppert and Schrader there. Like those little plays, that's another possession for Maryland that doesn't go to Notre Dame. So those hustle plays right there, they are going to be the foundation for Maryland to start to, you know, build some quality opportunities here.
Haven't had a goal since 13:40 on the clock here in the second. We're under the minute 30 mark now.
And that's a testament to Notre Dame's defense. You'll see these slide and recoveries. They're out on their man pretty quickly as the ball moves.
Here's Long coming around. His shot is denied by Entenmann, who's just playing on another level right now.
He's playing really well, and I think Notre Dame's giving Entenmann the shots he wants to see. That's Kyle Long sweeping across the top to his offhand. And, you know, with no real downhill momentum on that shot, Entenmann's able to just jump on that ball.
That was a problem with McNaney going down, was that this Maryland defense was kind of set up for what he wanted, and that needs to change with the new goalie.
Certainly, yes, I agree. And, you know, I think Rubel's done a nice job so far. And I do think Maryland's defense is settling in and giving him the shots that he can save. And we're seeing more of that now.
This is Simmons. Here's Cavanaugh, cutting and saved by Rupel. He's going to launch this downfield. And it's into the stick of Entman. Goalie's playing catch there to end the first half.
And that's a big way to end the half for Rupel right there. That's a big stop, a big save from Maryland to go in the half down, down by 1 after they probably felt like they were struggling. Now Rupel feels like he's getting some confidence here.
You can see a lot of Maryland players were running over to the freshman goalie there to congratulate him and pick him up. It's been a great first half of lacrosse here. It's lived up to the billing. Notre Dame by just 1 as the teams head to the locker rooms. You are watching college lacrosse here on Big Ten Plus. And welcome back inside CQ Stadium. Maryland finds themselves down by 1 against a really good Notre Dame team who has had some really quality looks so far.
Yeah, and I think, one of the big things is we talked about earlier the possession battle, and Maryland's winning that, but Notre Dame just getting probably more quality shots. And we'll see right here, that's a shot right in front of the cage by Teflon there, not giving Rupel much of a chance. There's another one cutting right in front of the cage. Once again, Teflon, those are tough saves for Rupel, but he's starting to settle in. Maryland's had a couple nice goals. Once again, on these step downs from Murphy there on their man up, right? So the challenge for Maryland is going to be to win some matchups and get better shots. Enneman's seeing the ball pretty well right now. I think that's a testament to Notre Dame's defense, forcing shots that he wants to see. And so the challenge is going to be for Maryland to get higher quality shots because, these shots right now, they're just too easy for Enneman, who's definitely on a little bit of a hot streak right now and seeing the ball well.
Maryland is doubled up on Notre Dame right now in terms of shots, but I think that key thing to look at is Notre Dame has 10 of their 15 on goal. Maryland is shooting less than 50%.
Once again, it's just the quality of shots that Notre Dame's getting on their possessions versus giving up to Maryland. Maryland's shots are pretty low quality, and with a great goaltender like Enneman, they're just not going to go in. So the challenge for Maryland is how can they generate higher quality shots towards the middle of the field in this second half.
Lynch wins the face-off, and he takes a shot there as he let it fly. This Maryland defense is fired up.
Yeah, I think they came out ready to go, and this defense has a lot of great leadership in, a Brett Makar, Ajax Zapatella's experience, and I think those guys are going to come out ready to play.
So Rupel is going to pass that back across. They'll find Burles.
Getting down on the clock here, and Maryland gets it over just in time.
So Corus is going to take that across into the offensive zone as Maryland looks to tie this game at 5. Brennan back. Scored earlier in this game. He did not play at Princeton. Big addition to this Maryland team to get him back. And this is Brennan cutting and scoring. Maryland ties it at 5.
And there we go, right off the bat, Maryland comes out and wins the first minute of the game with a good stop and transition after losing the faceoff and getting a really high-quality shot there from Brennan. And this is an offense that definitely missed Brennan the past few games, and we can see that here, where as the dodge comes up, Urksa stays composed, finds Brennan on that front swing, and that's what Maryland does really well, is they attack off-ball cuts strategically. So watch Brennan here as Urksa rolls back or steps away. Brennan times his cut up to be sweeping to his right hand, putting the Notre Dame defense in a tough spot.
It's the assist there, the 6th of the year for Urksa, the freshman, who was really impressed today.
Yeah, I think in general, Urksa's composure and poise with the ball is impressive as a freshman out here against a Notre Dame defense.
That's another face-off win for Lynch. He's now 2 for 2 here in the second half for number 22. He's going to give this off for Tevlin. Looking for a hat trick, but nice job by Zapatella to block it.
And that's a great approach by Ajax there. We saw Notre Dame doing a lot of shot knocking down in the first half, where Ajax approached through the shooting lane in transition. So as a guy gets a step down shot and you're not there yet, you don't want to approach to his body. You want to approach through that shooting lane to knock the ball down.
Tevlin, he's really stepped up. Had 2 goals on the year coming into this game. He's got 2 today for the Irish. As Kavanaugh works on makeup. This is Walker.
That's great on-ball defense right there.
Kavanaugh cutting. Trying to get past Makar. Leaves him on the ground, a bouncer. And it's still loose.
And these are those tough ground balls we talked about in front of the cage, where whoever wins these, these plays are going to be big, and there's Maryland coming up with another one.
Look at Geppert on the ball. So composed, the pole there, to pick that up and get it out of harm's way.
And I do think, although we've been challenging Maryland in the first half to score some offensive goals, I think their leadership on defense is going to be really important. That's 2 stops for Maryland's defense coming out of the half, and I think that's great for momentum. The offense starts to feel a lot better when the defense is getting stops.
Kavanaugh actually beat Makar there, but still could not find the net.
And that's a big stop for Ruppel, right? Coming out this half, getting that save on Kavanaugh. Right there, hands free.
This is Brennan cutting that one across. He'd love to get a hat trick. This is Chorus, a rip. It goes over.
And now Maryland didn't have backup, so that kind of stinks. But those are the high-quality shots Maryland's generating now. We weren't seeing those in the second quarter. So that's Jack Chorus right in front of the cage. That's a good look.
Chorus, he's played well so far this year. 10 points for him. As Notre Dame is going to take it across through Chris Fake. It's Jack Simmons, grad student, played at Virginia before coming here to Notre Dame. It's a kid who is used to winning.
And here we'll see Maryland's doing a little bit of what Notre Dame did of pressing out at X a little bit with Makar, not letting that easy transfer through.
As Gray comes around there, he hit the post. Maryland getting lucky there on defense that didn't go in. It's going to go out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Irish.
There's one of those 50-50 scrums going to Notre Dame.
It's Tevlin. Pass across to Gray. I think the refs are going to talk that over. Maybe one of them had a better angle of it. Bit of confusion here from Notre Dame head coach Kevin Corrigan.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they're discussing right now.
And if you're Notre Dame, this kind of gets you out of that rhythm that you had there. This little 2-minute break. It's going to stay with the Irish stuff.
It might have been a shot clock reset that they were working through.
Here's Kavanaugh coming around, trying to find his brother, picked up by Trader. And he can fly.
And that's a great stop right there.
Dante Trader taking it across midfield, gets space, shoots! Did that one hit the back of the net? It did! Dante Trader gives Maryland the lead. It's another odd goal where Notre Dame kept playing, but it's 6-5 Terps.
Yeah, and that's one I'll need to see the replay on. That's an odd ricochet, but that's a big goal from Dante Trader in transition. This is a guy that's come in this season and given a lot of life to this team.
Let's take a look. Notre Dame is protesting. You can see here, Trader picks up the loose ball. He's going to take it across midfield. Let's see if this found the back of the net. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's a tough camera angle.
Trader didn't immediately celebrate. That's what's telling to me.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
When Kavanaugh scored earlier, he immediately started celebrating. Let's see. That's off the post. That did not go in.
Yeah, that does look like it's off the post.
So this should not be a goal. They're going to wave it off. And that's the right call.
Yeah, that's probably the right call there. It's an impressive effort from Trader in transition. It just shows what he can bring to the team, though. That's a pretty good shot, inches off from being a goal.
Keep in mind that Dante Trader, so you can see another look there, he was a top recruit out of high school, came here, wound up starting for the football team, didn't play lacrosse last year, but what a big addition to this Maryland team this year.
Yeah, and he came here recruited as an offensive midfielder, so he has that ability to score goals.
But he can really excel at defense. He's one of the top short stick D middies right now in the country. He has really found his role as Maltz comes around. He's going to shoot a bouncer. It does not go.
Yeah, and I think with the graduation of Roman Puglisi, Jake Higgins, Bubba Fairman, Alex Smith last year, a good short stick D midi core from Maryland, Dante's filling in some big roles.
Urksa gets over to Murphy. Maryland is kind of known for that position, and Trader is really making sure they don't lose a step. As Spanos tries to come to the front, gets some room, gives it off to Murphy.
I mean, you could argue that's the most important position on the field, especially on defense. Teams are attacking short sticks all game, and you'll see both teams here.
Shot clock down to 10. Spanos coming around. Tough angle. Did that go in? It did. Tough spot there for Entenmann. He thought he had it, but it winds up in the back of the net. This time it's going to count for Maryland.
Yeah, and here we have Spanos getting the ball at X with his short stick on him. So if you watch a lot of these possessions, you'll see teams work the ball around until a short stick is on the ball, a lot of times behind the cage, and the team will try to attack that short stick because it's hard to beat poles here. And here Spanos does a nice job getting to his right hand and just getting his right hand extended around and shooting around the short stick there.
That's really tough for Entenmann. He has been fantastic all game long, but you got to think that one he should have had. He had it in his stick for a second there. Looked like it popped out. Winds up in the back of the net, and Maryland, for the first time in a long time, has the lead.
Right, and every goal counts. They don't have to be pretty, but just getting on the board in a game like this is so important.
And that's Lynch there with another face-off win, the former Chaminade Flyer. He has really done his job today against Weirman, who's probably the best in the country.
Yeah, especially the second half. You know, it feels like the tide at the face-off X has changed coming out of halftime.
So that's the third win in a row for Lynch. Cutting inside and scoring to tie the game is Dobson. Just like that, it's 6-6.
Yeah, and it really shows you what this Notre Dame midfield is capable of. These guys, and that's why we're saying the Trader-Dobson matchup was interesting earlier. It is really hard to cover Dobson with a short stick. He is big, physical, athletic, and right here we'll see he gets that shake, and he's actually able to put the stick back in his inside right hand here, his offhand, to increase his angle for that shot.
He just attacked Lacey, who is a really good SSDM in his own right. Just blew right past him and buried it.
Yeah, it's tough to get a slide there in time, and you know, that just shows Dobson's ability to score, and he's a big, imposing athlete. It's tough to cover him with a short stick.
So just like that, just over 20 seconds separating those two goals. Notre Dame has won another faceoff. That's now all 4 in this second half that have gone the Irish way.
Yeah, and that's big, right? Because Maryland, you know, they were winning possessions in the first half, and they still, you know, were down 1. And so with Notre Dame winning possessions now, Maryland's really going to have to step it up in other areas of the field.
Here's Dobson, another good look, but could not keep it down. And Kavanaugh's going to bring this back in. There's a ball on the field on the far side. I think they're going to have to move that off, and Kavanaugh's going to go and do that.
Yeah, Maryland electing not to pull Dobson. And so definitely going to be worried about that slide there.
This is Pat Cavanaugh. He's going to find Dobson. This is the matchup you talked about there, Matt.
Yeah, there's a good double on the backside by Maryland right there.
That's Ajax Zapatella with a great play defensively. He's going to get it up. This is McDonald passing it off. A shot from Maltz goes over.
And that is such an instinctive and important play by Ajax right there to read that matchup, right? We're talking about it. He's seeing it on the field, knowing Dobson's going to attack that short stick. As soon as you see a Dodger roll in the middle of the field right there and you're a defender, you can hunt the back of his head, expect that rollback, and be there for the double.
Looked like Notre Dame saw that matchup just as you were talking about it. I think Zapatello realized that, went in for the attack, and made a fantastic play. This is Urza coming around. He's going to find Brennan. Brennan wants a hat trick. That one goes wide and over.
Yeah,
stay with Maryland.
Yeah, and we talked about it, right? Notre Dame going to Dobson, Maryland short sticking him. And right here, Maryland's got a short stick on ball. The teams are going to attack the short sticks and see what they can get.
Chorus, that one too high for Urza, but Jack Chorus is going to get it back.
Once again, a shorty at X in the invert with Brennan.
This is Brennan. Turning. Great defense on him. And this ball is loose. It's going to be scooped up there by Chris Conlon. His 8th ground ball of the year. And Chris Fake is just going to launch this downfield. The Irish are going to get this clear. Here's Cavanaugh behind the back. It couldn't go.
And that's a big no goal right there, because if Notre Dame gets that, those are the energy plays. Those are the energy plays that the Kavanaughs are so capable of, and you can see Pat cutting right there in transition If he scores that, that brings a lot of momentum and a lot of positive energy to the Notre Dame team.
Last game at CQ, Joey Spallina went behind the back. As that shot finds the net, Jack Simmons puts Notre Dame back on top.
And that's a good quality shot from Simmons right there. He gets to the middle of the field. And once again, working a short stick matchups, able to knife down to the cage and get a quality shot and bounce it away to the low corner. And that's a tough shot for Rupel right there when a guy gets to the middle of the field. Simmons splits to his left, is able to get downfield right there and snap it over the top to that low corner. Right, and that's a tough shot for Rupel when a Dodger can release over the top and get a bounce to that corner. It's a tough save.
Weirman looking for his first face-off win of this second half, and Maryland finally gets it. But McDonald just dropped the ball. Lynch fighting for it. A big hit there by Makar. But somehow they're going to get through it. This is Kavanaugh. That's Ben Ramsey who made a great play to pick that up and just go.
And I think as this game stays close down the stretch, we're going to see it get a little more physical and a lot more aggressive. These guys fight for effort plays in the middle of the field.
So after Maryland scored the first two here in the second half to make it 6-5, Notre Dame answers with two of their own, and they have the lead back. This is Simmons. Scored on Notre Dame's last possession. Can he make it 2 for 2? He's going to pass it off to Tevlin. Here's Kavanaugh.
You can see Makar working out at X there, trying not to let the easy transfer pass to Kavanaugh at X.
This is Chris Kavanaugh giving it back to Simmons. Simmons coming around. Tough angle. He scores. 8-6. Simmons with 2 goals on 2 possessions.
Yes, Simmons again playing hard, dodging hard for that left hand. Another bounce, but that's a pretty quality shot. You see Notre Dame going to pick play here. They've been doing it all game, but as you continue to do this and guys get chipped, every time the pick set and there's contact, we want to switch, and it looks like Maryland Makar's just a little late on that switch, and Simmons is able to get topside to his left hand and snap it around the goalie with that bounce right there. As a defense, you're taught to take away that top side right there, and Maryland's just a little late on the switch to take away that top side.
Weirman really needs a face-off win. Lynch really has his number right now. But Geppert comes in and makes a play. He's going to get it back to Trader. They're going to try to close on him, but he is so elusive.
And that's a big win right there. You know, in a sport like this, it's all about, like, you're going to give up a goal, 2 goals. Can you stop the run and change momentum? And so a face-off win after a goal for the opposing team really helps to stop that momentum.
This is Owen Murphy. Maryland, boy, do they need something here. Notre Dame scored the last 3 goals in this game. This is Kelly. Can he get space to shoot? He's going to find Maltz. This is Spanos. Spanos cutting in and scoring. 8-7. Number 7 gets Maryland right back in it.
Yeah, and just as Simmons scored 2 goals for Notre Dame, there's Spanos scoring his second right there on a split to his left hand down the alley. The last time he had a sweep, he had a right hand topside goal. Here Spanos splits to his left hand down the alley. Notre Dame tries to slide, they don't get there in time, and that's a great release over the top. Once again, snapped away to the low corner. It's a tough save if you can snap it over the top to the far low corner. And here Spanos just gets downhill and is able to use his size and strength to snap that low and away.
It's a 1-goal game again. You know, we had a feeling here, Matt, that we would get a great game on our hands. That's what we have gotten. 5 out of the last 6 between these 2 teams have been decided by 2 or less. It looks like we're heading there again.
Something about Maryland Notre Dame. It tends to always go this way, and they're not disappointing.
The game of the week, a lot of eyes on these 2 teams right now. What is Maryland after that loss to Loyola? And for Notre Dame, could this finally be the year that they find the breakthrough and win Coach Corrigan his first national championship?
And there's Geppert off the win, you know, securing the ground ball and actually going back to Maryland's low defensive base. And wow, almost turned one over there. Going back to Maryland's low defensive base to get the clear. And Geppert, is such a veteran player to understand the scenario, to pick up the ground ball, not to push it forward, go back to Maryland's base to clear it out clean and simply.
So this is Murphy. Can Maryland tie the game? Down by just one. It's been a streaky game so far. Seems like when teams score one, they're going to get another before the response comes. Coming around is Whittier to tie it. 8-8.
And once again, this front swing, Maryland does so well when they swing from X to the ball side. It makes the guy covering them really challenged to work around the goal to find his cutter. And Maryland, we've done it earlier on the right side with Brennan. Now on the left side here, right, this front swing where the guy cuts from X to the ball is able to catch this guy sleeping for a step and get that top side release. And so just a really quality off-ball cut, and Maryland was doing that all last year too. As they can get these off-ball movements, especially from that X, that front side swing, they're going to get some more quality looks.
Former Georgetown prep player, the freshman, with a massive, massive goal to tie the game. The assist there goes to Murphy. Weirman's going to pick that up. Almost threw it into his own net, and Rupel could not keep that in. So here comes Notre Dame with a great opportunity.
And you see, is that a timeout there?
So a timeout is called. We have a barn burner here in College Park. It's 8-8. Don't go anywhere. You're watching NCAA Lacrosse on Big 10 Plus. Welcome back inside CQ Stadium. 10 really is the magic number for Maryland under Coach John Tillman. Look at that 8.98 win percentage when they get at least 10 goals.
Yeah, and I think at 8-8 right here with 4:38 left in the third quarter, you're probably looking at both teams over 10. It'd be pretty impressive right here if either held the other one below double digits at this point in the game. But that certainly is an impressive stat. And, in today's shot clock lacrosse, if you're holding a team under 10 goals, you kind of hope your offense can score that.
They've got the oblivious cam going here in the stadium, firing up this crowd, as Notre Dame is going to try to look to take back the lead. I don't think that they've realized that this game has started. The music's still playing. The oblivious cam is still on. Notre Dame has started. They are not wasting any time.
So Notre Dame's working a lot of big little right now, and then, they might go to Dobson here, but Maryland's got Trader out on Dobson, a matchup I think Maryland would like to keep if they can.
That's a tough shot there by Dobson. Goes wide.
I would expect to see a lot more of Dobson and a lot more pick play with the Kavanaughs throughout this quarter and potentially through the fourth.
Here's Walker. Coming to the front, faked the pass, gets it off to Kavanaugh.
I expect a quick slide here on Dobson.
That is Dobson, who shot that past Trader. It's going to be Maryland ball. That's great hustle there by Nick Red.
And any way you can get a possession back in a game like this is critical. So those runouts, that's just as good as a turnover here.
This is Makar. He's just going to get that off to Red to get that clear. That's Trader with it on the far side. This time he chooses not to attack the goal. He will give it off to Chorus.
And it's interesting, we still have a tie game here. It just feels like the game's shifted momentum multiple times. I would say it feels like Maryland's working really hard for quality shots, and that's a testament to the Notre Dame defense here, that nothing seems to be coming easy for Maryland offensively.
This is long. Brennan on the near side. He's been great today. That's long to Kelly, who scores. 9-8. Maryland has the lead. 3 in a row for the home team.
Yeah, it's good to see Kelly getting in the mix here. You kind of see two Notre Dame defenders get tangled up on the slide and recovery, and it buys Maryland some time as they get quick ball movement to the backside. And right here you see the slide and recovery. Two Notre Dame defenders kind of stumble over each other, and that trickle through just makes the recovery late to Kelly on the crease. Notre Dame has slid and recovered so well today, and you can see what happens when there's a little hitch in it. That time at this level of lacrosse, the offense can move the ball to the backside so quickly. If it's a slow recovery, a lot of times you'll find an open guy on the backside.
That's their two top guys. Kyle Long leads the team with 9 helpers, and the former Calvert Hall Cardinal Daniel Kelly has a team leading 12 goals on the year. Boy, do they need that as Weirman wins the faceoff. But that's knocked away. Kohler's going to have to get back to pick it up. He'll give it off to Makar. Maryland had to be careful there not to be offsides, but they did that.
And what we kind of see now is that this face-off battle is beyond just the X. It seems to shift back in Weirman's favor at the X. However, Notre Dame is not letting any easy outlets once they win the ball. So Maryland has to work not just to win the face-off, but transfer and get it safely to the offense as well.
This is the freshman Whittier. He finds Kelly. After dropping 4 in a row, Weirman has won his last 5 from the dot.
And you see Maryland working back to Spanos here after his last 2 goals on the short stick. Same thing Notre Dame's been doing a bit with Dobson. It seems like Spanos might be the guy Maryland wants to initiate with.
And that's a great save there by Entenmann. Somehow that's his first save of this second half. After being so good at the first with 10, it took him about 13 minutes to find that 11th. Whistle's going to go. That's going to be Maryland ball, another turnover.
And if this holds, this is the 3rd offside for Notre Dame. And you don't, in a game like this, we talked about it earlier, but you don't see a team like Notre Dame go offsides that frequently.
It's a really well-coached team under Coach Corrigan. Maryland is as well under Tillman.
To your point about Entenmann saves this half, I believe that, at halftime, Coach Tillman was probably talking to the Maryland offense about shot selection. Coach Bernhardt probably talking about shot selection, the quality of looks they were willing to take, and they were settling in the first half. I think now they're taking more shots that are a little more difficult for Entenmann to see.
Yeah, the Bernhardt brothers doing a great job coaching here for Maryland under Coach John Tillman. This is Brennan. He's going to take that to X. Tough defense on him.
Yeah.
This is Long. Tried to get a pick there. Lost his stick. It's a yard sale picked up. Notre Dame with a big turnover.
It's good defense there by Notre Dame looking for a double opportunity.
But that's another turnover the other way. Geppert's going to pick this up. Remember, he can shoot. He's got 2 on the year, had 5 last year. Gives it off to Trader, who could shoot as well.
Brennan's got some space here, but he's going to elect to pull it out. I think amidst the chaos, Maryland just wants to settle and get a possession.
Maryland on a nice little 3-goal run here. They've got a lot of momentum. This Notre Dame defense has to be a little bit tired right now.
So there's about a 5-second difference between the quarter clock and the shot clock here, and I'm expecting Maryland to try to run it down, maybe till about 15 or 20 left in the shot clock to get a last shot or so.
That's Jack Corus with it in his stick, just hanging on to it. Let's see if he can get by Nick Harris. The short stick D-midi there for the Irish, and he will. This is Corus coming around. Tried to find Long, bad pass, gets away. And Notre Dame is going to have a chance here, Matt.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Corus is trying to skip it, but not sure to which guy. Kind of went directly in between 2 guys. Notre Dame's got about 24 seconds left to get a last push at the cage here.
Boos here from the crowd, a little bit of confusion. It appears that the refs are talking something over here again before they resume play with Notre Dame with it. I think one thing is for certain, the last 15 minutes of this game are going to be wild. That's Chris Fake who gets it across midfield.
Got about 10 seconds left here.
Fake is going to give that off. 5 seconds. Notre Dame's got to go fast. This is Kavanaugh. Can he get a shot off? Cutting inside. Great defense by Maryland. It's a 1-goal game heading into the 4th quarter. Tyler Lochte and Matt Dunn here in the booth. The crowd's having a lot of fun with it. It's really windy. I'm surprised they don't have their shirts on there. It's cold even up here in the booth, but a lot of people have come here to see this Maryland team take on their toughest test so far, and probably their toughest test that they're going to get here at home.
Yeah, and we got the shady side and the sunny side here in the stadium, so definitely half of it's a little colder than the other half. But to your point, we got a 1-goal game going into the fourth quarter. This is living up to the expectations of that 2 goals or less, typically of 5 of the last 6 games.
This is the game of the week. There's no question about that. It's lived up to the billing as Weirman is going to take this faceoff, throwing it away.
But once again, it's not just the winning of the faceoff; it's the valuing of the ball in general that I think is, a little alarming for both teams right now.
So despite another faceoff win there for Weirman, it's going to be Notre Dame ball.
We got Dobson, looking to initiate here.
Dobson trying to get past Lacey. That pass did not find a recipient. It's going to be Maryland ball. Just so many turnovers so far. That would be the 25th turnover of this game between these two really good teams.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, it is still early in the season, and teams tend to look very different in March versus May. And so I think it's things like that that get cleaned up down the stretch.
This is Lacey with it in his stick.
And, honestly, in games like this, where both teams are so evenly matched, it does come down to those little possession plays where one team can just get, the ball for longer and not give it to the other team.
This is Brennan. Maltz finding Urksa, the freshman. That's a rip from Kelly. Great save, Entman. And a nice job there by Boyer to pick up that loose ball. And Notre Dame is going to have a chance to tie it here. This is Chris Fake, the Yale transfer, who's going to just take that across midfield before dumping it off to Riley Gray.
Maryland's got Trader back on the field here. And Jack Simmons coming out. Simmons had 2 big goals for Notre Dame earlier today.
Looks like Trader's going to take him. This could be a fun matchup to watch. Simmons cuts to his left and passes it off. Here's Chris Cavanaugh.
It's a good jump by Trader there off the pick, but now Notre Dame's got a matchup I think they like with Cavanaugh and a shorty.
They love it. Cavanaugh ties the game 9-9. Dante Trader switched on to him, and Chris Cavanaugh made him pay.
Yeah, and with the Cavanaughs, they're not doing a ton of isolation against their men, but off the pick play, they're so slick to get a shorty. They're able to get their hands free with these little shifty moves. And for Chris Cavanaugh to be able to sweep to his right hand across the top of the field there, that's a shot that a guy of his caliber is going to can more often than not.
So for Cavanaugh, his second goal of this game, he's had a hat trick in all 3 so far. And that's another face-off win for Will Lynch.
Yeah, it's funny with Chris Cavanaugh, he's kind of one of those guys that right now is quietly having a very impactful game where he's not initiating every time, the offense isn't flowing through him, but he just very smartly finds his opportunities to attack.
He's also somebody that the defense just constantly needs to be aware of, him and his brother Pat as well, who has the ball in his stick right now.
And you can see Maryland sliding pretty early to Dobson there, just respecting that matchup. It's a good slide by Ajax there to put some pressure on the ball.
This is Bryce Walker, the junior. Gonna pass that off. This is Dobson. It finds Cavanaugh.
Good team defense by Maryland there.
That was Makar that came out.
They got Pat Cavanaugh on a short stick at X, though. Maryland's going to be ready to go here.
Cavanaugh coming around, a pass across, could not find Chris, but that shot finds the goal. Quinn McCann gives Notre Dame the lead. And that pass, it did not hit Chris Cavanaugh, but it worked out in the end, I would say, for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and these goals are tough for defense because I think Maryland generally played this right. They get a slide. They have an invert matchup they don't like. They get a good slide from Ajax here, and they check the first pass through, and it just trickles through the backside. And so Notre Dame kind of right time, right place, able to can it. But Maryland, checked the ball through, did their job. And it just went to Notre Dame's favor there. Sometimes those plays trickle through. They can be deflating for a defense, so it'll be interesting to see how Maryland can respond to that play.
Goal number 2 today for McCann. It's his 8th of the year, a 16th assist for Kavanaugh.
Notre Dame scores at the 11:49 mark.
And here comes Maryland. With it in his stick, that's Jack McDonald.
That's a big ground ball in possession by McDonald right there.
This is Whittier, the freshman. Came in with just 1 game played and 1 assist. Out of Georgetown Prep, but he has a massive goal here today, and he's got the ball in his stick.
Being able to trade goals at this point in the game for Maryland right now, being down by 1, to get back after that last goal is important. They don't have a lot of time to recover from a 2 or 3 goal deficit, so this offense being able to put one on the board here is really important.
This is Spanos, 30 or so on the shot clock. Maltz cutting in. Nice defense there to deny him there by Donovan.
Yeah, you'll see Maryland try to attack the short stick matchups more here. Notre Dame's poles have done a pretty nice job on the ball. So you'll see them work through some 2-man pick play here, but also just try to get the ball to a shorty and see what they can do.
Urksa, 5 on the shot clock for Maryland. That's a high pass. Kelly could not find the goal, but that's going to reset the shot clock.
Next best thing to a goal here is a shot clock reset for Maryland. Get some more possession time and just work this Notre Dame defense. Every extra possession, Notre Dame's defense is going to get more tired. You can see Maryland subbing on some fresh legs here. As a team defense gets more tired, you'll see more opportunities on poor approaches, slides, and recoveries.
It's Long and Brennan who come in. This is Long, a long shot that goes wide, but Spanos is going to keep it for Maryland.
Expect a big little off the end line here from Maryland, bringing a shorty back to the ball to set a pick. You got Daniel Kelly there.
Kelly goes down. Spanos scores! 10-10.
And Spanos coming up big for Maryland today. Daniel Kelly sets a nice pick off the end line. And once again, Ty, I do think this is a product of Notre Dame being tired in that clock reset. These are long possessions that teams don't usually have to play as much anymore. You see Daniel set that pick. Off a pick, you're typically taught to switch on contact, and you see Notre Dame short stick D-Midi not ready to switch. My guess, that's a byproduct, long possession, just a little tired off the ball, hoping his teammate gets through. And Spanos stepping up big, getting that right hand from X and canning that shot.
Nice little celly there for Spanos. What a day he's having. Had just 1 goal coming in today. He has a hat trick. And with Murphy's hat trick earlier, that makes 62 straight games for this Maryland program with a player scoring at least 3 goals. That is incredible.
I learned that stat for the first time today, and that is pretty wild to think about.
That's a long history of really, really good individual performances here for Maryland.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about some of the names that have contributed to that with Bernhard and Wisnauskas. Now you've got Murphy and Spanos. As Long takes it. Can Maryland take the lead immediately?
Now, at this point in the game, Maryland's winning the possession battle here. And if they're able to keep the ball, right, you're going to start to find cracks in this Notre Dame defense.
This is Chorus. He's going to pass that out to Brennan. 30 on the shot clock.
Brennan might like this short sit matchup here.
Steady passes to Kelly. This is Maltz. He's got a short stick matchup. Maltz turning, tough shot, scores! Maryland has the lead.
What a shot by Daniel Maltz right there. And he's a guy that, you know, started every game last year with a really talented team, didn't get quite as much playing time, and has been such an impact player this year. Once again, late in the shot clock, right? Later in the possession, playing against a tired defense, Maltz is able to get a shorty on him, kind of in this short dot space, 15 yards away from the cage in the hash, and Notre Dame's not ready to slide to this. He's able to go both directions. Notre Dame can't get a slide, and just scores a great contested shot right there, puts it in the back of the net. That's a big-time play from one of Maryland's big-time players this year, and that's what they need.
Another big-time player makes a big play there. That's Luke Weirman with another big face-off, and Maryland is going to keep the ball. And if the Terps can start to play make it, take it here, that is terrible news for the Irish.
It is, and remember, like we're saying, it just keeps compounding, right? So it's not just Maryland only gets the ball more, but Notre Dame's defense gets more tired. Their offense gets a little less rhythm now because Notre Dame's not getting a ton of touches.
Whittier. Going to get that back to Spanos. He will find Murphy. Good job by Notre Dame there to not really let him close to the goal.
Back to Spanos on a short stick here.
He's going to get that back to Whittier. Whittier directing traffic at X. He's going to find Spanos, a bouncer. That's an incredible save by Antiman.
That is a big-time save right there by Entenmann. And Maryland does such a nice job in the hung game, right? When the ball's at X and everybody's looking at it, Maryland moves so well off the ball and generates a good shot, and Entenmann stole one right there.
This is Tevlin. It's been a while since we've said his name, but he had a really, really strong start to this game with 2 goals. Somebody's going to have to step up here for Notre Dame to try to tie this game.
Yeah, this is a big possession. If Maryland gets a stop, it's really big for Maryland. If Notre Dame gets a goal, well, we're back in the tied game there.
This is Pat Cavanaugh working on Makar.
I would expect to see Pat and Chris be a little more aggressive here.
This is Chris Cavanaugh. That's the goalie coming out to defend him. Maryland's got to be really careful here. Cavanaugh coming around and shooting. It goes wide. Out of bounds. A dive from Red. Maryland ball. And they're fired up.
And that's one of those plays right there. Could have been a goal. Ended up not being one. And Maryland got the run out. It's a big momentum shift right there. That's a big, kind of chaotic play with Ajax and Rupo playing the hung game. It's a big stop for them.
Look at that dive from Red. All-out effort from this Maryland defense to get the ball back. That one fired up the bench. Now can Maryland cash it in? That's a bad pass. Kelly could run this down. Can he keep it in? Diving, sliding out of bounds, and Notre Dame is going to take it on an unforced error.
And the same things we were talking about with Notre Dame earlier. Now Maryland gets a big stop there, and they give the ball right back.
Under 6.5 to go in a massive, massive matchup here in College Park. That is a long pass there, trying to find Ramsey. That bouncer goes over. It's going to stay with the Irish.
A lot of times with the Cavanaugh on the crease right there, you do kind of expect a ball like that to go in the back of the net.
11-10 as it stands right now. Maryland with the lead. They're looking to go to 4-1. The Irish looking to win their 10th straight game. That is the most in the nation. Dobson, a long effort, doesn't go.
It's a pretty good look for Dobson there. It's good on-ball defense by Maryland. They just got to get out to Dobson a little sooner.
This is Cavanaugh. He's working on Zappatello. Can he get an angle? No, but he finds his brother. This is Pat.
Got hung up again. We saw this a little crazy last time.
Here we go, into the open net. Somehow Rupel kept it out.
Rupel and Burles there did a nice job securing that ball. Now you see, this is where Notre Dame, they'll start to ride hard. This attack unit can ride hard and get turnovers. So Maryland, they got to stop. They got to make sure they clear the ball.
This Maryland bench is so fired up from the defensive play of their guys on the field right now. Let's see if the offense can feed off of that energy here, Matt.
That is a big stop by sophomore Colin Burles right there. This is his first year starting, and I think you see a guy like him make a big play right there down the stretch. That's a big energy play, and Roop will get in on that save. These are young guys making big plays.
Maryland can find the back of the net here. This place is going to go crazy. Chorus, a bouncer. Urksa came through to pick that up.
It's a great double by Notre Dame. We saw Ajax do that earlier, that roll back in the island. We can get a double, but Maryland secures the ball and maintains possession.
This is Brennan. He's got that short stick matchup, passes it off.
See Urksa stepping out to the corner here, looking like he's going to initiate some big little with Chorus.
Urksa getting it back to Chorus. Chorus coming around. He's going to turn that one up in the air. Great save by Entenmann, but Kelly picks it back up. And he's going to get it out to Urksa. There's two Notre Dame defenders behind the goal, but Maryland could not take advantage fast enough. This is Brennan.
And, I think strategically that's pretty mature by Maryland to kind of pull that ball out, right? This is a clock game right now. Maryland's up by a goal, 4 minutes left. Of course, they want to go to the cage, but every second chance they get, if they can burn some time, just leaves Notre Dame with less clock to use.
Here is Maltz. He'll rip one and score! Daniel Maltz makes it 12-10.
Danny Maltz, wow, we talked about him earlier stepping up to give the 1-goal go-ahead. And now here he is splitting to his left hand. Spain has had a couple big ones from Maryland, but now Danny Maltz is kind of stepping up to be the guy, attacking a matchup, and that's not an easy shot.
Let's see that save first by Ruppel that set this up. That was an open goal. What a great play, as you said, by Burles, and Ruppel got around to pick up the loose change, and then Maltz with a rip.
Yeah, all across the board, right? Danny Maltz right here to his left hand down the side, being able to pull that across on a goalie like Entenmann. At this moment in the game, that's huge.
Braden Erksa with the assist there. That's number 7 on the year for the freshman.
We keep coming back to him, but I just think in general, his poise, he does not play like a freshman. He's running at Notre Dame poles, some of the best poles in the country, and he's handling their pressure and making good reads. This
is the biggest game he has played in his college career, and he is really stepping up. But Lynch has stepped up all day long, and that's face-off win number 9 for him, which is not an easy task against Luke Weirman.
No, and I think the battle at the face-off X has really turned out to be a battle this game, and it was more of a question mark going in. But, these guys, throughout the game have had different, momentum streaks.
So now Notre Dame has it. And this clock, it's not really on their side. Coming in is Gray. He'll shoot and score! And just like that, it's a 1-goal game. That's Riley Gray, another Chaminade flyer, one of 9 on this team, who finds the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's a way to respond right there. We get this little up pick in the alley where the Maryland defender goes under, giving Gray just enough space. A lot of time on those up picks, you don't want to get under because the guy's running right to the cage. He gets his hand free and puts it offside. That's a pretty big-time play given the momentum and the state of the game for Notre Dame to score right there that quickly, puts them right back in it.
And, of course, as soon as I make the comment about how time is not on the side of Notre Dame, they score. And that quick goal really changes things here. That's a big face-off, and it's won by Notre Dame, but it's loose.
These are the plays right here, right? Who comes up with this ball? And Notre Dame does, right? Those are the tough plays. Maryland gets that ball, different story.
And just like that, the Irish can tie it. Chris Fake, the Yale transfer.
We got Simmons with the ball here. Taking a shorty behind the cage. Simmons has a few today, showing that he can win a matchup.
This is Kavanaugh.
We're going to have to slide and collapse there.
Kavanaugh's shot bounces over, but it's into the stick of Simmons.
That's a pretty good shot from Pat Kavanaugh there. One you don't really want to give up. A good steal. I think Ruppel got a piece of that.
And the crowd can exhale there for a second. Simmons coming around. He's finding Thompson. Notre Dame, this is the first close game they've been in all year. How do they respond? Let's see. Chris Kavanaugh.
Let's see a little switch here. Ajax back on his matchup with Chris Kavanaugh.
30 on the shot clock. Kavanaugh across. What a goal it's in to tie the game. Chris Kavanaugh as a flag flies. Unbelievable.
And wow, what an individual effort by Chris Kavanaugh there to take Ajax Zapatello to the cage. And he really just does a nice job. It doesn't seem like he has much space here at all. And Ajax is playing pretty good defense. That's, good defense. Gets his stick on him for the trail, but Chris is able to stay strong enough. Keeps his stick in his right hand. A lot of guys will switch to their left hand there. And I think if he switches to his left, Ajax gets that trail check, but he keeps in his right and gets this diving backhand finish.
It's goal number 15 on the year for Chris Kavanaugh. There may not be any bigger, there may not be any better of the lot so far.
That is an impressive effort, and we're talking about big-time players, both Kavanaugh brothers. And Chris, you said he kind of has a quiet few points here today. That's not a quiet one. That's a big point there for him.
And that's a big face-off win for the Irish. Taking it in is Boyer. A timeout is called. Notre Dame is going to have the ball with a chance to take the lead here under 2 minutes to go. Welcome back inside CQ Stadium. It has been a fantastic game of lacrosse so far. Chris Kavanaugh with a hat trick.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it. Like, he stole a goal early, then kind of felt like his presence was a little quiet throughout the day. Steps up, has a big goal there on Trader, and then this take on Ajax. Ajax, I don't know if he can play much better defense, and he just has a nice take to the cage and gets a tough finish.
That's just an incredible play there by Chris Kavanaugh, who is one of the best goal scorers in the country. And now Notre Dame has the ball with an opportunity to take the lead. With it is Simmons.
And so Maryland came out matched up a little differently with Colin Burles on Simmons, where Simmons was getting a short stick most of the game. So they were able to, out of the timeout, set their matchups.
This is Pat Kavanaugh coming around. Makar does a good job to get to him.
They got Trader on Dobson here. I'd still expect the slide to be ready.
Dobson coming in, cutting and shooting it high. But Pat Kavanaugh was there to keep possession here for the Irish. 1:24 to go. We have a fantastic ending here no matter what happens. Here's Chris Kavanaugh. Got a hat trick already. Tough defense on him. Can he hang on to the ball? A whistle goes. Looks like Notre Dame's going to call another timeout.
It's a good timeout by Coach Corrigan there. Trapped in the middle of the field at this point in the game, Maryland did a nice job collapsing on that. I would also expect Maryland to continue to come out. You'll notice that Maryland moved Colin Burles from Ricciardelli to Simmons there to get their pulls on more of the Dodgers and short more of the off-ball players. It's leaving Dobson with the short stick, though, and that's typically Dante Trader right now. I would expect a lot of pick play from Notre Dame on these pulls and Dobson to initiate against the short stick here.
So Notre Dame is now out of timeouts. Maryland has just one. We've got 1:15 to go here in the fourth. If nobody can break this tie, we're going to head to extra lacrosse.
Yeah, and you got to imagine out of this timeout, Coach Corrigan's drawing something up. I imagine one of the Kavanaughs is going to start with the ball with a pick coming to it to see if they can get any sort of matchup switch with Maryland here, probably with the short stick. So maybe Ricciardelli goes, sets a pick for a Kavanaugh. After that, I think they're going to play off it and look to see if they can get Dobson on a step down or attacking a short stick or just try to get some leverage off the pick play.
If you're Notre Dame here, you've got two Kavanaugh brothers and you've got 39 seconds on the shot clock. I would say that's a recipe for success.
It is, but remember, Maryland, they have a veteran defense in Brett Makar, Ajax Zapatello out there. Dante Trader's been playing well. Geppert's out there. Colin Burles has stepped up big. And Rupel's had a good second half in the cage. So I think, we're going to see right now of two pretty veteran units and talented units who's going to be able to win the most important possession of the game right here.
So much at stake on this one possession. If Maryland gets a stop, they've got a chance to steal it very late in the game. And if Notre Dame scores, they could walk out of here with a massive, massive statement to the country. This could be their year. As Pat Kavanaugh gets us started, he's going to find Dobson. Defense on him by Trader.
Great defense by Trader, a good slide.
Kavanaugh has some space. Makar trying to cut that off. This is Gray. Trying to get past Trader. Gets it back to Dobson. 13 on the shot clock. This is Pat Kavanaugh with it.
It's a great approach right there by Geppert.
McCann coming in. Loose ball.
And Maryland probably just wants to keep this on the ground right now with 1 second left.
Up in the air goes. What a statement by the Maryland defense. They're going to take possession with under 40 seconds to go to try to win this game.
And that's an incredible stop right there. But remember, Maryland's got to clear the ball. This Notre Dame team rides hard. So the stop is great. They got to get the ball to the offense now.
Long gets it across.
And there we see Maryland's veterans step up, right? That's a great team defensive possession. Slide recovery, great approaches to the ball. And here John Tillman's going to call a timeout to get, his personnel on and draw up how they want to finish these last 17 and a half seconds.
So we can forget about the shot clock now. It's just 17.5 to go in the fourth. Let's see this defense here by Maryland.
I mean, it starts with great on-ball D and approach by Geppert there and a great slide by Brett. And then after that, swarming the ball and getting it out of that heart of the defense where Maryland can keep the ball on the deck and kill the shot clock. So just a great approach by their veterans, Geppert there, and then Brett Makar being ready to collapse on the dodge in the middle of the field.
17 and a half seconds to go in this fourth quarter. And as it stands right now, Maryland has the ball. That timeout becomes really key, Matt, because now Coach Tillman can draw something up.
Yeah, I would expect some sort of set piece here. It is an important timeout with 17 and a half seconds. You don't have a ton of time, but you have enough. They're not going to kill any clock. They'll get going here. I would expect some sort of, set piece here where maybe they get the ball, a dodge through X, and then some off-ball action on the crease. A lot of times in scenarios like this, you're looking for off-ball action of any type of mumbo or shooter pops off it. You might even use like some Notre Dame use some big little off the start to see if they could get some matchup switches, because off a timeout, Notre Dame's going to put their best personnel in the exact matchups they want here. And so being able to use some pick action to switch those matchups off the start might throw things off.
Well, this is it. 17 and a half seconds to go here in the fourth. With all the eyes in college lacrosse right here at College Park. Can Maryland find a goal? Can Notre Dame find a stop?
We got Brennan starting with the ball here in this high wing.
Crowd is going to rise to their feet. Here we go. Brennan has it at about the 40 there, working on Tevlin. Now he's going to cut in. Brennan lost the ball. Picked up by Kelly. It's loose again. We are going to go to overtime.
And that's just good on-ball defense by Notre Dame right there, right? You can set up or draw any play you want, but if you have great on-ball defense like that, it really eliminates and disrupts the offense.
So the rules of overtime in college lacrosse, they're quite simple. Whoever scores next is going to win this game. And you can see there, Brennan lost the ball. Kelly tried to get it back. That's a big-time stop there by Notre Dame.
And once again, we talked about it earlier, right? The blueprint of both these teams historically is their defense, Maryland defense and Notre Dame defense. The end of the game, Maryland had a big stop with a minute left to get the ball back. Notre Dame's defense answered the bell right there at the stop with 20 seconds left.
So we are going to step away. Don't go anywhere. We're headed to OT here in College Park.
Right? That's what they're so good at. And both these staffs, veteran staffs, that's what they instill in these guys, right? They practice these scenarios. They play games to one all the time in practice. They're used to this high stakes, one chance, one shot.
So 4 minutes on the clock. We're just going to play until somebody scores. I think that sounds pretty good. We are back underway, and it looks like Maryland is going to get first crack at it.
This is where you see that Notre Dame team ride, right? Pat Cavanaugh almost got one right there.
Geppert with that big ground ball, and now Maryland is going to bring in their offensive middies to try to steal this game.
And we sound like broken records talking about possessions all day, but in overtime, that first possession is critical.
Maryland and Notre Dame, they played in the NCAA tournament in 2021. And Maryland won it in OT. Anthony DeMeo with a goal less than 40 seconds into the extra period.
We got Kyle Long with a short stick here. He likes it.
That was a great look there for Urksa. Just could not convert on the pass. And now Notre Dame is going to take it the other way.
You almost wonder on that side of the field right there if the sun is a little bit of a factor from where we're standing.
Nerves in this building are high. Everybody is standing. Who is going to walk out of here victorious?
And so Notre Dame's getting their personnel in here. They have Dobson with the ball. Maryland's working to get matchups. Trader back to Dobson.
So it's in the stick of McCann.
They got two pulls up with the short stick on Ricciardelli here.
Cavanaugh trying to work it around. Makar on him. He's going to give that off to Dobson. Dobson.
Trader on ball. Expect a slide here.
Dobson a pass. A shot denied. Rupel with a massive save, and Makar picks up the ground ball, but it's still loose.
What a save by Rupel there, and what a ground ball by Brett Makar. Now McDonald's got to get it out.
I think the freshman just had himself a big-time moment. And McDonald is going to get that clear. Timeout, Maryland. They're going to have a chance here to win it.
That is a big-time save, and on that rebound, and you don't, like, this Notre Dame attack.
Take a
right
look
there.
at this save. That's Richie Ardelli with the shot. Rupel got just enough of it. That's a point-blank look. That could easily have been a goal, but Rupel, the freshman, with an insane save in his first home game.
Subtle play there by Rupel also on Brett Makar's flip there to get a little piece of the riding attackman to allow the ball to flow through to Burles. That's a nice play from a freshman right there, staying involved beyond just the big stop in the cage.
He just made one of the biggest saves of his life and then immediately turns around and is focused enough to make a great play defensively.
It's pretty promising when you see a true freshman in a game like this making plays like that. And then I think it feels good to have a player like Brett Makar out there. And I don't think we can underestimate that ground ball, the one Brett kicked to space right there. That, you know, that could be a garbage goal from Notre Dame that Brett just saved and got the ball back to their offense.
69 seconds on the shot clock, 2:12 left to go here in OT. Let's take another look at this save. Why not? It was incredible. You got Dobson there working it into Richie Ardelli. That's a tough angle, but just a phenomenal save.
I think Burles does a nice job closing the gap on Richie Ardelli there, so he doesn't get to see the cage a lot, but Rupel stands tall, right? Doesn't get to see much, just takes up space and is able to get a stop there.
So Maryland with the ball, they got plenty of time. I think that's a good time out there by Coach Tillman. The emotions of that moment after you see your freshman make an insane save. Just settle things down here offensively. Just play your game.
Yeah, and every possession matters so much. You're only going to get so many stops in an overtime game. So when Maryland gets the ball back, Coach John Tillman's wise there to say, hey, let's slow it down and make sure we're having a great, not a good possession here, we're having a great possession here. And so it looks like Brennan's going to pick up the ball again, and this is kind of how they started off their last possession of regulation off Coach Tillman's timeout. So I wonder if they're going to try to execute a similar look to what they originally wanted to do on that last possession.
So it's going to be in the stick of Brennan again. Last time he lost it just before regulation ended. Let's see if he can do better this time. Brennan's going to work his way in. He's going to pass that off to Long on the near side. Long cutting to the middle. No room to shoot. He'll give it back to Brennan. This is Murphy.
Murphy with a short stick here.
Murphy back to Long. Long, loose ball in front of the goal, picked up by Tevlin. But a tough ride here by Maryland, not going to try to make it easy. Notre Dame is going to have a chance here to win it.
And I'm not entirely sure what look that was right there. A tough possession, good defense by Notre Dame.
So it's in the stick of McCann there as Notre Dame is going to call timeout. With 1:21 to go here in OT. Let's take another look here at that chance by Maryland, throwing it into double coverage there.
Yeah, Notre Dame's defense has been pretty good inside, especially in the second half of the game. It's a tough pass there. I don't know if Long maybe saw something different, but Notre Dame did a good job collapsing around that.
It is a really tense moment for both of these teams. And again, for Notre Dame, they've really killed everybody that they have played so far on the year. I mean, they are coming in with wins over Marquette, Cleveland State, and Georgetown. All of those massive, massive wins.
Yeah, when you look at the rankings this early into the season, you're always kind of unsure, how legitimate they are, because teams play teams of different caliber. You don't know how good teams actually are coming into the season. And I think what this game shows us right now is that, Notre Dame and Maryland are pretty much in that top five for sure and pretty equal here. I think we've seen that throughout the game.
Notre Dame comes into this game with a 9.3 average margin of victory. That leads the country. So they are used to blowing teams out, and they've got a really tough game on their hands here with Maryland. Next goal wins it.
And this is a great test for both teams here, and I think Notre Dame coming into this game, they haven't really been challenged yet, so it's probably a little promising for Coach Corrigan and Notre Dame fans to see them get challenged like this and stay resilient throughout the game. And I think for Maryland, Maryland's been challenged more throughout this season, but for them to be able to respond and show this resiliency as well to take the game to this point, I'd say is encouraging for both teams right now.
For Maryland, they are coming off of that national championship, that perfect season, 18-0, the only team to ever go 18-0 in the NCAA era. And now they've got a really, really tough game on their hands with Notre Dame, who's come here from South Bend, and they have really put in a strong performance. They've got the ball, and a goal here ends it.
Maryland's got pulls on the guys they want, some matchups here. Makar making it tough for Kavanaugh to get the ball. Notre Dame seems to want to run this initiating big little that they've been doing with Dobson and Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh shot, and another save by Ruppel. We play on.
How about Ruppel there? That's Pat Kavanaugh. And guys like Pat Kavanaugh in moments like this, they tend to find the back of the net with a good shot, and Brian Ruppel making a big save there. Once again, can Maryland clear the ball?
Looks like they can. That's Kyle Long. Pat's brother Matt plays the
Using
PLL
McDonald
now.
as an outlet.
This is Trader. Finds Urksa. This ball finds the ground.
This is one of those scrums, right?
They're going all out for it. Still loose.
These scrums define a game like this. And here Maryland gets the ball. Can Daniel Kelly hold on to the ball? He does. And that's a shot clock reset for Maryland. Oh, 15 seconds left in overtime here.
Here is Maltz. Coming around. His shot goes wide. And it's going to go Notre Dame's way with under 8 seconds to go here in this first overtime. Looks like we're going to play 2.
You do have to be careful, right? 7.5 seconds with guys like the Kavanaughs down there of just checking this ball through.
They're going to launch it deep.
Check it through.
We are going to head to a second overtime here in CQ Stadium. 2 big saves, one on either end. Take a look at this one from Kavanaugh, denied there by Ruppel. And then here at the other end, as Maltz came around, just could not put that one into the back of the net. This has been an incredible lacrosse game. We're going to play 4 more minutes. Don't go anywhere here on Big Ten Plus. Let's head to the dot here for the face-off. It's a battle. Scooped out. Can Geppert get there? Yes. Another big ground ball for Geppert, who gets that out and into the stick of Weirman.
That is a tremendous play by Geppert. Can Maryland hold on to the ball, though?
Still loose. That's Chris Fake coming in. Urksa putting his body on the line to scoop it up is Kohler. And a whistle goes. Did Maryland get that timeout off? They did.
That is an elite timeout by John Tillman right there. And these are the effort plays, right? Every possession counts. This is second overtime. That ground ball and evasion of pressure by Geppert right there and the poise, that could potentially win the game for Maryland right here.
Let's take a look at this from the face-off. A ground ball. That's Geppert who comes in and makes a great scoop there. Just had to get it out of his stick to the Fogo Weirman.
And Maryland's ability just to maintain this possession, and that is an elite timeout by John Tillman. You can see Notre Dame and Maryland fighting for every ground ball because they know each possession will determine the outcome of this game. And that is a huge timeout.
So Kohler picked it up for what looked like a second, and within that second, before he lost it, Coach Tillman got that timeout in. That's a play made there by the coach. I mean, that really affects the game.
You know, I wasn't looking because I was watching the ball, but I bet there's a great highlight of John Tillman running down the sideline there in the ref's ear.
Full sprint. He's doing whatever he can to get his guys the best chance here. So you get 1 timeout per overtime period.
So this is Maryland's 3rd chance to win the game out of a timeout, right? They had end of regulation, they had overtime, and here Brennan's going to start with ball again, possibly? Or is that...
Looks like it's going to be Maltz.
It's going to be Maltz, but Brennan's starting up in this alley here where the same thing on the opposite side. Both of the last timeouts, Brennan was up in that high right alley dodge. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Maltz move the ball there. And potentially try to give a similar look.
This game has lived up to really, really big hype and then some. I don't think that you could have drawn up a better finish than this. Maryland has the ball. They've got 64 on the shot clock. A goal would end the game.
Brennan and Chorus have short sticks here. I imagine one of those two is going to be... So here we got Chorus as the initiator on the opposite side. Potentially with a big little with Maltz here.
This is Maltz.
And here's the play. Notre Dame defends it well. Kelly coming off the screen. That little pick through X and that off-ball mumble on the inside.
Brennan trying to get some space. He's going to pass that off. This is Chorus. He finds Maltz a rip. It goes wide.
So after they get through that first set, now they're just going to let their players be players a little, and they're getting the ball to Maltz, and he's been a hot hand for them towards the end of this game.
35 on the shot clock. A pick there by Chorus, trying to free up Long.
Got a shorty on Long.
Long turning, shooting, deflected away. I believe that was Chris Fake that got through to make the play. It stays with Maryland again.
Notre Dame just seems like they're getting there just in time right now for these trail checks.
Kyle Long trying to come to the front, gets hacked at there.
That's very good on-ball defense by Notre Dame. Short stick right there.
Long gets up, and he could not find the finish. Entman.
Another good stop by Notre Dame. Great short stick defensive play right there on Long, and then Chris Fake slide. That's just a good defensive possession. Can Maryland's defense respond now?
So here we go again.
So Notre Dame still has to clear the ball. Got about 5 seconds left.
They're going to get it across midfield to Ben Ramsey. And now Notre Dame can bring in their offensive middies.
Back to the blueprint of these teams. Notre Dame's defense just stood on their head there for some stops. Can Maryland's defense do the same again? Both have shown that they're capable of. Right now, Maryland's getting a short stick to Richard Daly and bumping Burles up to Dobson out of the box. So now Maryland has a pull on Dobson.
Coming in is McCann. He's going to find Pat Cavanaugh.
Maycar does a good job navigating the pick.
This is Gray. This is Chris Cavanaugh coming to the front. Zapatello is on him.
Expect a roll back and dodge here.
Cavanaugh shot. Another save, Rupel. Into the stick of Maycar.
Another save by Rupel. Loose ball here.
It's picked up by Zapatello. The Maryland Terrapins are going to have another chance to win this game. Zapatello makes a nice move to get around it.
Back. Good poise there by Zapatello to get the ball to the offense.
The Cavanaughs collide, and Chris is still down. Refs might call a stoppage here if he can't get back up, but looks like they're just going to let this play.
And that is another big stop by Rupel in cage there, and then Maryland's pulls to secure the ball against a crazy riding Notre Dame attack right there.
Whittier. He scored his first collegiate goal earlier in this game. Gives it off to his fellow freshman Urksa. Whittier coming to the front, working on Tevlin. He's going to find Spanos.
Early slide to Spanos there. Spanos was the guy generating some offense for the Terps earlier today.
This is Whittier turning. 20 on the shot clock. This is Murphy coming in. Did that one hit the post? It's going to stay with Maryland.
No reset there, it looks like, so still 12 seconds on the clock.
Kelly's going to bring this in. This is Spanos. Spanos turning, has to shoot it. A bouncer goes wide. It's going to be a shot clock violation. And now Notre Dame is going to get a chance here.
And this is just really good defense down the stretch by both teams. That's great defense by Notre Dame again. And neither team, Maryland's not really generating too many great shots.
So now we've got 15 seconds to go here in the second overtime. If this continues, I'm going to be whispering. We've got now
Dobson
8
with the
minutes.
ball, pass in the middle. What a hit by Trader.
It's still loose. 1 second. Maryland could not take advantage. That's a football move there by Dante Trader Jr. as we head to the third OT. Welcome back to CQ Stadium. We're going to play on here until somebody can find the back of the net. It's time for a third overtime. You can see Coach John Tillman there. We head to the face-off dot. All these face-offs are massive in OT. It's still loose. Up in the air, a scrum for it. Dante Trader with the big ground ball.
And 2 big plays in a row there for Trader, securing the ball for the Terps. Now we want to get the ball, get Weirman off the field here, get the ball to a midi. Course steps on.
So now Maryland can bring in their offensive substitutions. That's Brennan as well as Long.
Notre Dame's done a nice job kind of winning these matchups in overtime, so I want to see how Maryland's able to generate some leverage on dodges here, potentially through some pick play or through their short sticks and get some off-ball action.
The last goal was scored over 10 minutes ago. Here is Chorus. Coming around, a pass off to Kelly. The team's leading scorer is going to give it off to Brennan. This is Long. He's got the short stick. He's going to turn a bouncer loose in front of the goal. And that's Chris Fake who stopped it so Entenmann could pick it up.
Impressive little stop there by Fake that probably just saved a run out Maryland was going to get. It feels a little bit like Maryland might be settling for some shots in these overtimes like they were earlier in the game. I think in the second half they found a nice balance of higher quality shots, getting matchups they like. I think they're just trying to force some things right now.
It's in the stick of Riley Gray. Another timeout's going to be called by Notre Dame. And we catch our breath again.
I feel like I'm having deja vu here.
Take another look at this
Here's
play here by Long.
Pretty good defense. And I get Long as a returner wanting to make a play, and that's a great little stop by Fake there. I just think Maryland's settling a little early in these possessions right now in overtime, where Maryland's at their best when they are taking high-quality shots by just quickly moving the ball if they don't have the look they like. And so I think at times throughout the game, we've seen guys revert to tendencies that don't traditionally align with what Coach Bernhardt and Coach Tillman are preaching to these guys.
So 2:31 on the clock here in the third overtime. Notre Dame has the ball, and they've got 55 seconds on the shot clock. The 2 goalies have really stepped up here in this extra period, specifically Brian Ruppel for Maryland.
Yeah, and to be honest, Maryland hasn't really gotten any shots on Entenmann on cage this overtime, I don't think. We've hit the side of the net and then a couple off cage, and Notre Dame's gotten a few on cage, and Ruppel's made stops. And so out of this timeout here, I would expect Notre Dame to, they've had some decent shots with both Kavanaughs in the overtimes. I would expect them to set some pick play with the Kavanaughs, see if they can get a shot here. If not, Dobson's been a guy they've been able to go to. And so we'll kind of see which path they take here, but I would expect the Kavanaughs to be heavily involved. Looks like Pat might be starting with it.
So Maryland, they're on the field. They're ready to go as Coach Corrigan is still talking things over with his Irish squad. I mean, this is turning into a bit of a marathon here as we have played almost 10 minutes of free lacrosse here. So Notre Dame's going to take the field again. And again, no matter who comes out victorious here, this is probably going to go down as one of the better regular season games in this lacrosse season.
Absolutely, and it's lived up to the hype so far.
Here we go again. Riley Gray is going to start with it. Gray coming to the front, working on Burles. It finds Pat Cavanaugh. Makar is on him.
Good job by Brett getting over the pick there, staying in Pat's hands. Expect a left-handed shot.
Cavanaugh comes in, scores! Ball game! Pat Cavanaugh wins it for Notre Dame! 13-12, and the Irish celebrate a massive, massive victory.
And that's a nice take by Pat Cavanaugh there, and you know, it's what you expect from your senior players, and it's probably the guy, if you ask who on Notre Dame is going to score the game-winning goal, you're probably circling Pat Cavanaugh there. Now, you know, Pat's a predominantly right-handed player, and he just swept to his left hand and finished that ball on Makar. It's a pretty good play by Pat Cavanaugh.
He's working on one of the best defenders in the country right there, Brett Makar. Somehow finds a way by him and puts that one in the back of the net.
Kudos to Pat Cavanaugh finishing that shot with his left hand. You know, I think Makar, rightfully so, is probably expecting a rollback here from Pat Cavanaugh. You know, probably on the scouting report, he likes to go to his left, roll back for that right-handed shot. And Cavanaugh shows that he's able to finish that with his left hand from that spot, and that's a tough save for Ruppel. And so, you know, eventually with all these shots on cage in overtime, Notre Dame's able to get a quality one-off that's able to find the back of the net.
Well, Pat's brother, Matt, he's one of the most clutch players of all time. They called him Matty Ice. He's got to be Patty Ice now after that one. 13-12, Notre Dame comes to College Park and beats the defending champions. An unbelievable game of lacrosse. Took 3 overtimes to settle this one.
Yeah, and I think you got to give a ton of credit to both defenses really throughout the game. To go to 3 overtimes with offenses like this, both defenses really stepped up. Brian Ruppel really stepped in the cage. But at the end of the day, I think Notre Dame's defense was able to disrupt Maryland's offense in overtime. And you kind of saw Maryland defaulting to some frustrated shots and poor decisions. And I think that's, you know, kudos to Notre Dame's defense on forcing those tough decisions from Maryland. Nothing came easy.
And for Notre Dame, up next, doesn't get much easier with Ohio State. Maryland is going to go to Albany. We thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. For Thomas Mason and Jackie O'Mara, for our director, Matt Weinsheimer, for Matt Dunn, I am Tyler Lochte. We hope you have a great day, and we thank you for tuning in here on Big Ten Plus.